Okay. So I want to welcome everybody to All About Apps for your smartphone or tablet. My name is Richard. I'm the iLounge manager on board. I think most of you have suffered through 45 minutes with me before.
Yes.
If you haven't, anybody not? Welcome. I'm going to let you know this is going to be very different than what you've seen before. I believe in fun stuff. I believe in stuff you don't know. That is my goal. Those seats are fun. Just be aware. If you ate too many desserts last night, they're going to collapse. She thinks I'm kidding. We'll hear her thunk.
What?
We'll go, 2 scoops of ice cream. Should have had one.
Yeah,
But we're going to be talking about apps today. And I think one of the most disturbing things is when someone comes to me, they have a smartphone, and they don't have any apps on their phone. This happened yesterday. Someone came to me with a phone. They didn't have a single app on their phone. I'm like, you're missing out. You've got an iPhone. You've got no apps. I'll tell you, last cruise I saw an antique. Someone brought with them on the cruise, they're still using it, an original iPhone. I offered to pay him $3 and bring it to the nearest museum, but he didn't want to buy that for me. But here's the important thing. The power of all these devices is in the apps. The last thing you should be doing on your iPhone, on your iPad, on your Android is going to Safari or going to Chrome and looking things up. You should be inside of the different applications that are available. Now, one of the major questions I get from a lot of people is, okay, Rich, how do you find all these applications? What you do to get applications is you go to the App Store, you're in a Starbucks, you go ahead, upper right-hand corner, you type in Starbucks, you're like, yay, Starbucks, I've got the app for Starbucks now, right? But you don't know where you find a lot of applications. Here's what's very cool. On all the App Stores, be it the Apple App Store, be it the Google App Store, be it any of the App Stores, all the different App Stores have a featured page, which is the first page on the App Store, and it shows you, okay, these are things that are featured now. And like the Masters is coming up, I think, this weekend, and you can live stream the entire tournament, and there's all kinds of different things. Now you see this section right here changes all the time. So to give you an example, let's talk about the month of February. Early in the month of February, this section talks about online dating applications. About February 10th, it starts going to flower buying applications. And what do you think happens about February 16th? I think it's very interesting. What starts showing? Yes, you are correct. Legal paperwork applications start showing up for people who messed up Valentine's Day. That is an honest-to-goodness story. The time that most people find out about that their significant other is using a website called ashleymadison.com is Valentine's Day. Years ago, I had some woman come to me, she goes, my husband's getting all these emails from this lady called Ashley Madison. Do you have any idea who that is? I go, nope. I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting called to court to testify. I have no clue who that is. But the cool thing is this changes all the time. And it also changes with the season. So what you'll notice is if you look at the App Store, if you look at this front page of the App Store, St. Patrick's Day a few days ago, last cruise or 2 cruises ago, it was all green. So all the apps were green for St. Patrick's Day, a few days heading up. But this is where you find the new apps. These are new apps we love, new games we love, and this is curated. There's also something called the free app of the week. And what that is an app that Apple has that normally costs money. Every single week, they put one app that costs money up for free, and Apple pays for that app for you. Which is really cool. And if you get it during that week, you get it. Sometimes there's $10, $20, $30 apps that show up as the free app of the week. Just to give you an example, I know we have a guy on board who's doing a whole thing about the stars. There's a great app called Skywalk. I'll actually show it to you because it's that great. There's a great app called Skywalk. I don't really have a spot for it in my class, but I'll show it for you if it wants to behave. And what's cool is you take it and you point it right at the stars, and it will actually show you what stars you're looking at. Kind of makes that, it's not called it's called Starwalk. Starwalk, not Skywalk. It's called Starwalk. And just to give you an example, this is normally a $10 application, but the application was free about 2 weeks ago or so. And here's what's cool. I've got to get it to recognize where we are. We're inside. It's a little difficult, but you'll see when this works. But then I can actually scroll around in the night sky, and it'll show me what's out in the night sky, and it'll know where you are, and it'll actually trace and do everything like that. But that's an app that was an expensive app, and it became free for about a week, and as long as you get it within that week, you get to keep it forever. That's the really cool thing. Now, that is not the app right now. The app right now is a child's app called Toka Life School. No clue what it is.
Where do you find those on?
So where it's going to be is you've probably never seen it before because it's below the scroll. My screen turned a little bit blue. See if I can fix that. Give my screen a second. It's below the scroll. So if you scroll down, you'll see it's below the scroll. Uh-oh. Weird things are going on. I think we're going to have to stay with the blue screen. If it turns, it's okay. So below the scroll is where it is. So we're going to scroll down a bit. And you'll see that it's right here. It's called the free app of the week. It's always there on iPhones and iPads in the featured section. Now, you need to be online to see that, but if you're online. Now, the next section that's an interesting section is what's called the top charts. And you'll notice that you have the top free apps, the top paid apps, and the top grossing apps. I'm just checking. I know what I stood on. There we go. Top free apps, the top paid apps, and the top grossing apps. Now, the top paid apps are right here. You will notice that all of the apps have a star rating on them. There is only one app to ever exist that has a perfect 5-star rating. Any thoughts?
Facebook.
Nope, that has a terrible rating. That's got like a 2-star rating.
Instagram.
Google Photos is the only app on iPhone and Android that has a perfect 5-star rating that I've ever seen. The thing is, you'll get a lot of apps that are okay, that have 4.5 stars or so. If you have a paid app and it is less than 4 stars, should you buy it?
No.
N-O. This is my no button. Whenever we say no, they say in the hospitality industry you're not supposed to say no, so I press a button and it does it for me. No! Okay, so the thing is, what I find interesting, do you know who makes the #1 free app on the App Store? The #1 paid app on the App Store? Microsoft. It's called Minecraft. They have the #1 paid app on the App Store. The next thing I want to talk about is free apps. Here's the question. Do you get a free app if it's rated less than 4 stars?
No.
Why not? It's free. Who cares? Just delete it. You thought I was going to press the no button. No, I grabbed it to trick you. You get it, it's free, it doesn't matter, you can grab it. Now you'll notice that free apps no longer say free on them, do they?
No.
Because there is no such thing as a free app. Why I say that is, okay, you've got an app to order pizza from Pizza Hut. The app is free, but is it really free, or is it helping you order something from Pizza Hut? You've got a free app for celebrity cruises. The whole point of that app is to book a cruise, right? You've got an app to do different things. They all have different points. They all have different ways to make money. I like to put it like this. If you're not paying for something, who is the product? You are the product. So that's something it's something I want you to keep in mind. So we're going to talk about this a couple of times over the cruise. So free apps no longer say free. They say get, due to regulations that were put in place by the European Union that said you can't call something free unless it's truly free. Now, the absolute last app we're going to talk about today is the only free app I've ever found. And I'll show it to you. What I mean by free app, I mean no advertisers, no subscriptions, just a really cool free app, no alternative purpose. I'm going to show you that. Top free app right now is Transformers Forged to Fight. #2 is YouTube. #3 is Netflix. And #4 is that app that Apple made free by paying for it. And that's what they do. And then the next week, it'll still be up in the apps list, if that makes sense. But here's where it gets interesting. You have top paid, top free, and then you have top grossing. Almost all the top grossing apps are free. Have any of you ever heard of this terrible, terrible game called Candy Crush? Have any of you ever paid money for the terrible, terrible game called Candy Crush? Someone's going to be honest. Lies. Lies. You pay money every time you buy more coins, every time you need a magic choo-choo ticket and things like that. At the height of its popularity, Candy Crush was making over $1 million in every 24-hour period. And it spawned a whole era. Now, just to give you an example, you've never seen a Candy Crush one, but Clash of Clans, Game of War, and Mobile Strike are free applications that have all had 30-second long Super Bowl commercials. So we're talking about $10 million, and they had Arnold Schwarzenegger in one of them. You might have seen him driving a tank in a commercial in Super Bowl. That was for a free app. So that'll just show you how much free apps can actually make with in-app purchases. It's a little bit scary. Then we've got 2 more sections I want to talk about in the App Store, and then we're going to get started with some actual apps. Then we have purchase. This is every app that you've ever gotten before on any device with your Apple account. So, okay, I've reached the bottom, but have I reached the bottom? Here's an interesting trivia question. Which came first, the iPhone or the iPad? The iPhone came first, but the iPad was actually created first. A lot of people don't know that the iPad was created long before the iPhone, and then they miniaturized it and made it a phone because they felt that would sell better than the iPads would. Just to give you an idea. But right now, these are all the iPad apps I have. If I want to go to my iPhone apps, I can scroll down even more. And my favorite thing is my first two iPhone apps I ever got was AIM Chat and AOL Radio. Just to date myself a little bit. The first apps came out with the iPhone 3GS. They were not on the original iPhone. They were on the iPhone 3GS. You can get apps, but you can re-get any apps that you've gotten before. Because people come to me all the time, they go, well, I have all these old apps on my old iPad. How do I move them over? I say, you just go to purchase, you click, and you are good to go. Now, the last section is called updates. How many of you update your apps? When you get that little ugly thing that says you need to update your apps, I'm sure a lot of us update our apps or it's set to automatic, but how many of you read what's actually changed in the updates? You do? Sometimes it's hysterical, but sometimes it's like, oh, okay, I'll give you an example. A lot of people didn't know you can make voice and video calls in Facebook Messenger. You can go into Facebook Messenger and you can make calls just like Skype. You can make calls just like FaceTime, because some of you may have iPhones, but you might have relatives who are not on the Apple train and use an Android phone or different things like that. You can actually use Facebook Messenger, and they put it in the link here. It said, hey, we updated so you can do voice and video messaging across there. So I don't want you to just only do your updates, but I want you to read your updates as well. So now we've come to the part of the class where I'm going to talk about apps. Here's what I want you to do. Unless I say otherwise, I want you to assume that the apps are all free. Also, unless I say otherwise, it is very likely they're cross-platform, meaning they work on iPhones and iPads and Androids and all those other things like that. But when you meet a group of people for the first time, my mom always told me there are two things you are not supposed to talk about with a group of people you meet for the first time. What are they? Politics and religion. So let's get started. Okay, so let's talk about religion. Let's talk about religion. I like to break every stereotype in my class. This is a true story. So I don't practice, but I'm born Jewish, and one of the major things in the Jewish religion is that you don't get a tattoo. You shouldn't get a tattoo. So I used this first app I'm going to show you to convince my mom that I got a tattoo. You can do this for your kids too. This is great. It's a great app. It's called Ink Hunter. INKHUNTER. And here's how it works. What you do is you take your sleeve, you roll it up. Let me tie my shoes real quick.
We need to do this.
You don't have to do it on your sleeve. You can do it on your face too. That's what makes it so much fun.
I should freak the kids out.
You say, Mom and Dad got drunk in Barbados and got tattoos. It's great. And what you do is you take a marker and you draw a smiley face. It's not a permanent marker. It's just like a dry erase marker. So I draw the smiley face. And then I choose which tattoo I want. I don't want to go in. I want to just get... So I told my mom I got an anchor tattoo because I'm on a ship. Get a slightly better light here, and look what I have. I didn't draw that smiley face perfectly.
God, that would be so funny.
What do you mean that would be so funny? Reach your arm out here.
Oh God, I've got to send it to the kids for sure.
Let me just take it. It's called Ink Hunter. It's the name of the app. It's being stupid for me. Smile is not detected. Hold on, I did. INK. There we go. Look, there's her anchor.
So you have to have a smiley face on your arm.
So you draw a smiley face on your arm because it replaces the smiley face with the tattoo. And we've got all kinds of different tattoos that you do. You do it black and white. You have to make sure that you go in once you save the photo, and you have to uncrop it. But my mom, really, she didn't believe me. She's like, you didn't get a tattoo. So I kept the smiley face on. I walked around by the pool. I walked around by the ocean view. I'm like, yeah, look at my tattoo. She's like, I don't believe you. Go take a picture with the captain with your tattoo. So I call up Captain Leo, who's on part of the captain. My mom doesn't believe I got my tattoo. I told him the whole story, and my mom comes on board. She's like, I want to see your tattoo right now. I want to see it. I didn't have a tattoo. It's called Ink Hunter. It's a really cool application. I'll show you another really cool application. Now, so we talked about religion, and now we get to talk about politics. Does anybody have an American US dollar bill on them? Can you pull it out of your pocket? I know we live in a cashless boat, but some people like the casino. So, you got a $1 bill? I'm going to give you back your dollar. I promise you. There's a pen.
It's an 85-cent pen.
That's an 85-cent pen. I made 15% on my investment. Thank you. But this is a really cool one. It's called 1600, and we know what 1600 stands for if you're an American citizen. 1600 Pennsylvania Lane Avenue. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And this is really cool because this is augmented reality. You've probably all seen the idiots on the internet that strap the phone to their face and they look around and I love to do that. That's why I say that. You see but this is really cool. I'm going to take this dollar bill and make it something else using an app called 1600. I'm just going to place it on the floor, and I'm going to open up 1600, and I'm going to show you what this does. This is insane. I can guarantee you've never seen anything like this before. And then I can actually move around the bill.
The White House is more than a home for the president and his family.
And I can zoom
It's
in.
the people's house. So it's your house too. George Washington laid the cornerstone of this iconic building that has been an emblem of our...
But this is called augmented reality. Imagine if you can use the camera and augment your reality. Now, let me explain to you. See, I have his dollar bill, and I always keep a dollar bill in my pocket when I send it down to get cleaned, because this is what we call money laundering. Did some money laundering there. Okay, so we've gotten the religion and politics done. We've done the hard part. Now we get to start doing some of the fun part. Now I'm going to tell you another story. This is a true story. Have any of you ever been to Russia before? Been to the Nevsky Prospect before? It's one of my favorite places. You go there and you can go to one of my favorite places that I call it Fancy Pizza Hut. If you've never been to Pizza Hut before, in Russia, they wear white gloves and tuxedos at Pizza Hut in Russia. When I went to Russia, last time I was in Russia, I went to a very fancy Russian establishment, Carl's Jr. in the Nevsky Prospect. And I'm in Carl's Jr. in the Nevsky Prospect, I order some chicken nuggets. And I order the chicken nuggets, and I say, I want barbecue sauce with my chicken nuggets. I have a very, very strong aversion to ketchup. So I was like, I want barbecue sauce with my chicken nuggets. They give me this thing back, and the only English word on it is Heinz. I don't know what that was. Ketchup. So I used this app. I pointed it right at the barbecue, right at the thing, and guess what it translated it to? Barbecue sauce. I'm going to show you how this app works live in a minute. I had it set. You see it's going from Russian to English. I went to another fancy Russian establishment, which is that. Yeah, we know that's what that says, but do any of you know what that says? It says, world famous buns with cinnamon. Or to show you true before and after, I walked up to a palace. If you've ever been to Russia, if you go out and you can't find a palace for 500 feet, you're not in Russia. So, you go out in St. Petersburg, you go look for a palace, and you find that which says, no raccoons on the xylophone. No, it says, on lawns, not walk. So I can go, and I've got that right there. Now, the way I translated this, do not write down this application because it doesn't exist anymore. I'm going to tell you what it's called now, was with an application called WordLens back in the day. And WordLens was purchased by a company called Alphabet. I'm sure we've all heard of Alphabet before, right? That's Google. For all of you who don't know, that's Google. It was purchased by Google, but now Google is officially addressed as Alphabet. And I'm sure some of you have heard of the app before, Google Translate. But Google Translate does some things that you probably didn't know it can do. Now, one of the things I love about Google Translate, whenever I get in the elevator with a group of guests, and they're speaking Spanish, I work on my Spanish. I know a couple Spanish phrases. One of my favorite is from the monorail at Disney. You ever been to Disney before? They go, please stand clear of the doors.
The doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas.
So I do my, in the elevator, I go, please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas. They start talking to me in Spanish, and I'm like, I don't speak Spanish. I just memorized that from the monorail at Disney. But what's really cool, it's called Google Translate. And what's cool is I can go in and I can translate all kinds of different things. So if I want to go from English to Spanish, I can go ahead and I can say, in English, I say hello. I'm going to show you some stuff you don't know about this app that you've probably never seen about this app in a couple seconds. But I can go hello, and it will turn around and it will say, hola. I've actually already translated that. It'll say, hola. You want to say it out loud?
Hola.
Yeah, there we go. Now I can also talk it, and I can say I'm going to go from Spanish to English. I know another Spanish phrase. It's a little bit dirty, but you know, it's okay. The kids won't get it because it's in Spanish. It's okay. They don't speak Spanish. You go. La tortuga en mis pantalones es muy grande.
The turtle in my pants is very big.
That's a common pickup line you can use in Miami. And I challenged someone to go to guest relations. The iLounge manager said the turtle in his pants was... It's a turtle. It's okay. But here's where it gets really cool. Imagine if you had a menu. Someone gave you a menu, handed you a menu, and when I go out, I usually, before I had this app, I would order either schnitzel or lasagna, because those are the only two things that are always called schnitzel and lasagna, not dependent on wherever you go in the world. So you go to Russia, even if the menu is written in Russian, you'll see lasagna. You'll see schnitzel. So does anybody have a daily program I can borrow? Okay, daily program, perfect. So this is really cool. There's a guy, he's a good friend of mine, his name is Matthew. He's the international host on board, and he hates this application because, he actually loves it, I showed it to him a couple nights ago. He hates this application because he knows now that this application exists, he won't have a job much longer. His job is to translate the daily program into different languages. So I can translate this English daily program from English to Spanish in real time using Google Translate without an internet connection. This says Celebrity Today. As soon as I put it under there, it says Celebrita Hoy.
Wow, it's family.
And I'm
Without
actually
an internet connection.
without internet connection. That's what's cool about it. It's called Google Translate. It's very, very cool. It is a free application. You need to download the individual languages when you get the application, but once you download the languages, you do not need an internet connection to use. You can type in and you can do the visual thing. You do need to have an internet connection to do it via voice. So the way I did it via voice. But everything else, you don't need an internet connection. And what's really cool is that's actually a translation device.
How much space does it take up?
It depends how many languages you load down. So Spanish is about, so what happens is they used to have Spanish and German and French and Italian loaded in, but they added so many languages, now you pick and choose the languages you want to download offline. But there's only like a couple big languages in the world you put there and then you'll be okay. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is going to the movies. This is the movie theater for the ship. This is Celebrity Central. They've been showing a lot of movies here. One of the things I always like to do when we go to Aruba, I go and I see a movie. I saw King Kong. I saw Beauty and the Beast. I saw all these. The problem is, you go to the movies and you get a drink that is this big, and you got a movie that's 2 hours long. So what do you need to do a couple minutes into the movie? You need to go relieve yourself. Yes, I agree. So what if there was an app that can tell you when you can go and pee during movies? The name of this application is RunPee. Here's the interesting thing. I always like to explain how apps make money. Do you know who sponsors this? Murbique. It's an overactive bladder medication. Talk about one of the greatest sponsorships you'll ever see in your entire life. So I happened to see, what did I see? I saw Beauty and the Beast the other day. And during Beauty and the Beast, there are 4 pee times. The first one is 36 minutes in, the second one is 58 minutes in, the next one is 1 hour and 4 minutes in, and the next one is 1 hour and 29 minutes in. And I went pee during the 4th pee time. Yeah, so I went pee during the 4th pee time. Now what's cool is, what you do is when the logo comes up, so when the Disney logo fades, you hit start timer, and in 36 minutes, it's going to be, I'm going to leave so I can show you what's going on. It's going to be pee time. And what it's going to do, I don't really know what this is too bright, it's going to vibrate in your pocket to let you know it's time to go pee. Now, You run out of the theater, you go to the bathroom. This is very easy for men to do. You hold the phone with one hand, you take the zipper down with the other hand, and you can read what's going on during the movie while you are peeing so you don't miss any of the film. It is called the synopsis, and it's a synopsis. Oh, that was a golden laugh. But here's the other cool thing that it'll show you. I happened to see King Kong. I don't know if any of you saw King Kong. But in the new King Kong, here's something really cool. Kong Skull Island. One of the questions is, hey, is there something after the credits? You know how after like 10 minutes of credits? There is. But this app will show you if there's anything after the credits.
Neat.
It will also show you, some movies nowadays have really bad 3D quality. When they make them 3D, it'll show you there's a 3D poll built in saying whether or not you should see the movie in 3D. This is, so 85% say see it in 3D for Kong, and I know it was a lower. I did not see Beauty and the Beast in 3D because I was like, no, let's just see. 85% say see it in 3D for Kong, and how many people say see it in 3D? It's not going to be as high a number. 69% say see it in 3D for Beauty and the Beast. This is all the same app.
Run, R-U-N.
R-U-N-P-E-E.
Okay. Okay.
Run P. R-U-N-P-E-E. Next application I want to talk about is something that I hadn't been able to talk about for many years before because we have a partnership. And when we have a partnership with a company on board, we're not allowed to talk about their competitors. Now, we used to have a partnership with the #1 company in the world in learning a new language, which is Rosetta Stone. I agree. We used to have a #1 company, and I couldn't show this application. Now, Rosetta Stone, have any of you ever used Rosetta Stone before? Did you spend thousands of dollars and really not learn the language great? Or
Yes.
you learned the language great? Yeah. What if I told you there was a free app that was like Rosetta Stone, made by the same people who originally made Rosetta Stone, and cost nothing? It's called Duolingo.
D-O.
I'm trying to remember how to spell it myself. D-U-O-L-I-N-G-O. Duolingo. And I can say, am I a beginner? And I could say, I want to learn this language. And I could say, I'm trying to learn Spanish. Which of these is the boy? El pan, el niño, el agua, la manzana.
El niño,
Which of these is the man? El hombre.
el hombre,
The woman, la
la
mujer.
mujer,
The girl, la
la
niña.
niña, una niña,
A girl. And I have it set to
la
learn.
mujer,
I have it set to learn Spanish, but you can learn all kinds of different languages for free. So you can learn Spanish, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Dutch, Irish, Danish, Swedish, Turkish, Esperanto, Norwegian. There's two I'm trying to learn to pick up the ladies in the dining room. It's Ukrainian and Russian. The only word, I've tried a couple words, the only words they keep saying back to me, I don't know what it means, it's "niet." Polish, Russian, Polish, Welsh, Hebrew, Vietnamese, Hungarian. If you really wanted to work on the bridge, you could learn Greek. And even Swahili. There's 79,000 people trying to learn Swahili right now. Just to give you an idea. This is completely free, but when you have something completely free, I want you to understand how they make money, because I think that's important, is to understand how they make money. Once you graduate from Duolingo, you can become a human translator. Because when you have a business agreement, do you want to put that business agreement into Google Translate and just say, go? And then sign a multi-million-dollar agreement? No, you want to have a human translator, and they get a cut from what you get paid as a human translator. I think that's reasonably fair. They teach you a language, they get a cut of what you're getting paid. It's called Duolingo. It's a free application. Now, here's another question. What is the universal language of the world?
English.
What? No, try again. Someone's going to say love. No, my friends.
French?
It's math.
Man.
It's math. I'm an engineer by trade, so it's math. And when I was going up through school, me and my two sisters both had the same math teacher in middle school. And when I was growing up as a kid, my math teacher, I would ask her, I said, why do I need to learn this crap? And she would say, because you're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket. So she can't use that on the little kids anymore because they all have iPhones and stuff like that. So with my youngest sister, she's like, well, because it teaches you how to think. And then one of the worst things, look, I know calculus, so I'm not making a joke here. One of the worst things is algebra. It serves no purpose. Serves no purpose. So what if there was an application that could solve algebra problems for you? I like to show you this because it's kind of like Google Translate. It's called Photomath. You can bring this home to the kids. This will help them cheat their way through algebra. But you can be like 3x equals 9, and it will solve. Hey, I know it's x equals 3. I'm just trying to get focused. X equals 3. 4x plus 7x equals 346. X equals 339 over 4. 3x plus 7x plus 42 equals 342. Do I have any teachers in the room? Yeah. Teacher, what are you going to say? Got it. Got it. And this is why math teachers won't have jobs much longer, because our phones can do it all for us.
And what was that called?
It's called Photomath.
Photomath?
Photomath. P-H-O-T-O-M-A-T-H. I'm going to give you another one. I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to give you the name. I have to find it. It's called Socratic. And this one not only can solve normal math problems, but can solve word problems. And solve thinking problems. Trains leaving the station, yep. Trains leaving the station, yeah, it's called Socratic. It's a really cool application. Now, we've talked about language, and we've talked about numbers, so let's talk about something with language and numbers that happens at 10 o'clock every C-Day. Boom, boom! Attention, ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Michael from Navagasa Bridge. I wanted to let you know that since we left the port of Aruba, we have gone 632 nautical miles. And you all look at yourselves and you go, how far is a nautical mile? Or you're going to go out in Barbados tomorrow, and they're going to have prices listed in Barbados dollars. And you go, what's that Barbados dollar actually worth in American money? Or you're going to be like me, I have to do this. You're going to be like me, and you're going to go over to the UK, and you're going to notice that things are remarkably cheaper to buy with dollars this year. Oh, it's true. But this is a really cool app. It will convert anything. It's called Converter Plus. And I'll give you an example of Barbados dollars, just because we're going to Barbados tomorrow. Barbados dollars, $1 US is worth 2 Barbados dollars. So take things, cut them in half to give you a little idea there. But I can do currency, I can do all kinds of other things as well. Like I said, the captain said we went 626 nautical miles. That is 720 miles, or 1,159 kilometers. Just to give you a little idea.
Is it converter plus sign or converter?
Either way, we'll get it for you. PLUS or the plus sign will get it for you. The other cool thing, if you have an iPad, you'll notice that bundled into the iPad is no calculator. There's no calculator bundled in the iPad. So you're like, you're like, but here's the cool thing, you actually have a calculator inside of there. You can not only do length, but you can do speed as well. I asked someone before, I go, how fast do the elevators on board move? Now, according to all of your comment cards, they don't. But I asked one of the engineers on board, I go, how fast do the elevators on board move? They go, they move at 35 feet per second. And I'm like, thank you for telling me something I don't understand. And that is 23 miles per hour. I don't think any of you have ever been in a 23 mile per hour elevator unless you've ridden the elevator at 3 or 4 in the morning, and then you're like, yay, it's a fun ride. But you can go through and you can translate. This is kind of like Google Translate, but for units. I can do temperature. I was in Lapland. I asked what temperature it was. They said it's negative 40 degrees Celsius. I said, thank you for that. I have no clue what that means. Negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit as well, yeah. But I can go in, I can find that all out. That is called Converter Plus. I've got another one I can't really show you live in here, but I want to explain it to you. I'm sure you might have been outside before. You're out. You go to Disney World, you go to a mall, you go something like that, you walk outside the mall and you go, where did I park my car? This is a great app. It's called Car Finder. Helps you figure out where you parked your car, yeah.
How close?
Huh? Let me open this up. So Car Finder, I don't want to get ad free. So how close? So you mark where you parked when you get out of the car. You're like, I parked here. And then when you get out of the restaurant or you get out of wherever you're going, you take your phone, much like that dollar bill thing, You hold it right like that, and it's going to give you a big, ugly red arrow of where your car is. Really, really cool. It works really well. I use it as a ship finder. When I leave the ship, I mark it, and then I know exactly the direction back to the ship, no matter how much I drink in port. So it's an absolutely wonderful tool to use. It is called Car Finder. Now I'm going to switch over to my iPad for a second to show you a couple of applications. Then I'll switch back to my iPhone. I'm going to switch to my iPad.
Richard,
Yep.
does that one require internet?
It does not require internet to work. No, it doesn't. It will take a little bit longer to find your location if you don't have internet enabled or cellular enabled, but it will still work perfectly fine. Now here's another app. I want to show you two apps on my iPad that I just happen to have on my iPad and on my iPhone. They work on iPads and iPhones as well. One is called Epicurious. Have you ever heard of the app Epicurious? How many of you have recipe books at home, cookbooks at home? This is a digital cookbook. True story. I get a call. Some of you might know this guy. I get a call one day from the executive pastry chef on board. He's not on board this ship now, but he's been on board this ship for years. His name is Bruno. He's from France. Now, you might not know him by his name, but I'm going to do my Bruno impression. He goes, my belly's gotten smaller. It's harder to do this. Hello? I am Bruno. I am from France. I have passport for 7 countries wanted by Interpol. That's how he introduces himself. He's like, I am executive chef. And he calls me one day and he says, this is a true story. He calls me one day and he goes, we have a bunch of a food that's expiring soon. He's like, and I don't normally work with this food that's expiring soon because I'm a pastry chef. He goes, but we have too much of this specific food on board. And I go, Bruno, what's the food you have too much of? He goes, we have too much bacon. Wow. They had bacon that was going to expire, and you say you can never have too much bacon, but obviously you can have too much bacon. But here's where this gets cool. He's a pastry chef, so what does he make? Pastries, desserts. So I look up bacon, and I look up dessert, and the first thing that comes up, bacon baklava. Bacon baklava. And I can go in, and we made some bacon baklava for the crew mess, and it was wonderful. The next thing I'll show you, next app I'll show you, if you like to travel, you like to go to different places, you like food, this is a great app. It's available on iPads, it is available on iPhones as well. It's called TRVL. It's a travel application that shows you all about different places around the world you can travel, and the nicest thing is you can set it up so that this works without an internet connection, which is cool. So you download the book about your location, and it will work without an internet connection, which I think is a really, really awesome thing. It's called TRVL. Give you an example. I'll show you where we are right now. TRVL. So like if I go down, you see that there's Aruba, there's Curacao, there's Bonaire, and I can go in and I can read all about Aruba. Or I can read all about St. Martin, or I can read all about any of these different places. St. Kitts. So here's Bonaire. We've already left Bonaire, so let's take a look where we're headed. Barbados. I know there's St. Martin. They haven't made it Barbados quite yet. But there's one in St. Martin, and you can go in and you can read all about all the different things. And the nice thing is when you click a button in this app, it allows you to do it without an internet connection, which I think is very, very cool. I have two more apps I want to talk about. One I'm going to show you, which is the only free app I've ever seen before.
So Richard, where does data coming from?
The data comes from the tourist bureaus and all the different places. Put these little magazines together and submit it to TRVL. It's done by the tourist bureaus. But this is a really cool app. I want to talk about one more app after this, but I want to show you this because this is the only free app I've ever seen. And I actually got to go to the launch of this app. It's called Be My Eyes. And I'm just going to let their launch video speak for itself, but I want to let you know some information about it after this video plays.
You might wonder how blind people deal with everyday challenges. Well, normally the answer is simple. They're not that different from you. We play music. We go to school. We go to work. You get the picture. But sometimes the simplest things can be difficult, and we need a pair of eyes.
Connect to.
That's where you come in. Through your smartphone, Be My Eyes connects the blind with sighted people through a live video connection. Simply choose if you need help or want to help by the click of a button. just by installing the Be My Eyes app. And we'll notify you when someone needs your help. And if you're in the middle of something, don't worry. Someone else will step in. So, would you care to Be My Eyes? The Be My Eyes app. Find it in the App Store.
And I think that's a really cool app because, and what I think is very interesting about this app is they have a big problem. I'm going to tell you the big problem they have. It's a really good problem to have. They have 10,000 blind people that have signed up for assistance in the app, and they have over 3 million sighted people that have signed up to help. So the weird thing is if you sign up, it's likely no one will ever need your help because there's too many people willing to help already. So that's a good problem to have, to be completely honest. That is called Be My Eyes. Now, we have a lot of stuff coming up over the next few port days, just so you know. We've got tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about Amazon. The next night, we're going to be talking about smartwatches. We're going to be talking about YouTube and Netflix. Different really interesting things that are going on. But the most important classes that we have left, in my opinion, for kind of changing your mind, is the last 2 C days. We're going to be doing something on Google Photos and something on Gmail. Now, for many years on C Day number 4, I used to teach an iCloud class. But let's be completely honest, what is the main reason most of us use iCloud?
Storage.
To back up our pictures, to back up our videos. We do our contacts and things like that. So here's what's really weird. This is the first cruise ever that I am not going to teach an iCloud class. Because I have found iCloud to not be as relevant anymore. Because I'm going to show you how you can back up all of your pictures, unlimited for free, in Google Photos, as well as how to get a real email provider, which is called Gmail. Everything else is a joke. But I want to show you a little bit about an application called Google Photos. And this is an ad for Google Photos, and this is something that's happened to all of you before. But we have, for our VIP sessions, which is something that's in a smaller group, we have our Google Photos class today. But we're going to be doing a game show right out here on one of the port nights coming up on Google Photos, which you can win some free internet in. So it's really cool. We're going to be doing a game show called the Google Photos Photo Challenge, and I'm gonna ask for a picture of a dog, or a picture of a cat, or a picture of a boat, or different things like that, and you have to scroll through your phone, and you have to find it, and the first person that gets it gets a prize. It's really cool. That's going to be going on in a few nights' time. But this is a problem I know we've all had before, and I want to show you how we're going to fix it.
Okay, just like that.
Am I getting input in it?
I'm gonna take a picture of this, ready?
1,
2, 3.
so,
Ah, I missed it. Do it again.
oh, Laura's holding up the Leaning Tower of Pisa all by her. Idiot!
Take as many photos as you want without running out of space. Introducing Free Up Space. Never run out of storage again with Google Photos.
So that's something we're going to be talking about on the 4th C Day, and that's going to be in the afternoon at 1 o'clock. But I want to give you one last thing that I highly recommend. I don't recommend things that I don't do myself, because I think it's really cool. I had a friend who was sailing with me about 3 weeks ago, and I gave him the whole Shore Excursions booklet. I'm like, Bill, here's the whole Shore Excursions booklet. Pick something you want to do. And you've all been to a lot of these ports before, but there's something really cool they just started doing called the Inside Access Tour. They do it on the C Day mornings. Very cool. I did it, like myself, I went along. This is actually the inside of the wine cellar in the dining room. You actually get to go inside of the wine cellar. You get to go to the engine room. You get to see a lot of things that you wouldn't normally see. This is where they keep all the beer that you drink. No, that's vegetables. We don't do that. Sorry. That's where they keep all the different food and different things like that. It's very cool. It's called the Inside Access Tour. They do it on the port day mornings. You can check with Shore, not the port day, the sea day mornings. You can check with the Shore Excursions if you want more information about that. Elsewise, my name has been Richard, and this has been the Smartphone and Tablet Apps class. Bye!